Okay, this is Junior Solo number 3 for snare drum by Michael Sartini. Okay, let's take a look at some of the finer points of this etude. For all of the rolls, I'm going to use a 16th note roll bass except for one situation, which I'll explain in just a second. As we move through the piece, as we see in measure 4, we have the upbeat quarter note roll and then the 2 separated quarter note rolls at the end of the bar. The sticking that I'm using for those is actually triplets, so that I can give the rolls a little bit of separation. It's not meant to be a half note that's tied into the following bar, right? So if I'm just playing the skeleton of the roll for that bar, I have this. All right, so I'm playing those 16th note triplets on beats 4 and 5. Then I just buzz those. And that gives the quarter notes a little bit of length, but also separation between them. For these extended 8th note flam figures throughout the piece, I'm using all right hands for the 8th notes so that I get a consistent sound, and then playing all the flam grace notes with my left hand. And notice here at the end of measure 6 and then into measure 7, those 3 flams are not accented, so you need to make a difference between the flams that are accented and then the flams that are not. Then measures 7 and 8, we have this decrescendo. I'm choosing to decrescendo all the way down to piano so that I have a little bit of contrast from what's coming before and what's coming after. So if I start at measure 7. I'll deal with the sticking of the 4-stroke rough in a minute when I get to the end. Then when we get to measure 10, we have a couple of syncopated flamacues. Again, the flams are not accented. The left-hand note after them is. So don't over-accent. Don't play. Right? Then I've given myself a courtesy dynamic of forte at the beginning of this roll to remind myself of the dynamic that I need to start the roll at. Do not play this roll as a sforzando or a forte piano where you go, and then get out of the way. Starts at forte and then decrescendos. And again, I'm going all the way down to piano there. Then mezzo forte, again, all 16th note basses for these rolls through here. In measure 15, the two drags with the housetop marcato accents, I'm playing those notes directly in the center of the drum so that I get the punchiest sound. Then we have the extended single stroke sequence. I'm starting measure 16 on my right hand, which means the accent in beat 2 will be on my left. And then it flips over to the opposite hand for measure 17, where the accent will be on the right. So, and then the whole lick will end on your left hand. Then we jump up to forte. for the next 2 bars, it is very important to make a distinction between 16th note subdivisions and triplet subdivisions. So we have 1-en, triplet, triplet, triplet. Right? It's not all triplets. You got to make a distinction between 16th notes and triplets. Same thing in the next bar. Very subtle difference between 1 and triplet 3. Triplet 5. If you were to play the underlying subdivision, right, you hear the subdivision change there from 16ths to triplets. Then we go through again. I'm playing that accented flam with my left hand. It makes the most sense for the sticking. Then that drag with the right hand, again, not accented, because then we have a forte flam that's accented here. Again, through this passage, I'm gonna use my right hand for all the 8th notes, whether they're accented or unaccented, and then grace notes with my left hand. Now, what's important here is we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a 5-bar crescendo, so it's important that we structure the crescendo in such a way that it takes the entire time instead of getting loud too soon. So what I've done is I've set myself a couple of benchmarks here. In measure, so if we have a forte piano here in measure 21, then I want to beat a mezzo piano by measure 23, mezzo forte by measure 25, and then I arrive at forte at measure 26. And so that whole lick sounds like this. Right, and then we take it out. We have a number of familiar figures that come back. The triplet quarter note rolls in measure 24, the flamacus in 26, this decrescendo in 27 and 28. All of these figures come back from earlier in the piece. Okay, so the final thing I want to talk about here is the 4-stroke roughs. We have these in measure 29 and then also in measure 9. There are 2 stickings that I recommend for this, and you can choose which one works the best for you. One of them is to keep all the primary notes on the right hand, and then single stroke that 4-stroke rough, so you'll have left, right, left, right. The other way you can do it is with an interior double. So that same figure would be right, left, left, right, but only the last right hand is large. Right, so I'll play it both ways so you can hear the difference. Very, very subtle difference. Okay, that's singled. Now here's with the double. And you can pick whichever sticking works for you. The singled sticking, left, right, is the one that seems to work the best for me. Okay, that's a little bit about the etude. I'll set my metronome again, and I'll play it through one more time.